and nice that if you fuck with her, you're gonna get messed up.
Oh, facts. Yeah.
She'll murder you, right? But
Well,
she's
she's
nice, but
yeah.
she has that undertone of don't mess with me,
Well, she also came
right?
up in a time where like being a bad bitch like she is, like she probably got fucked with, and I guarantee she had to fuck
Right.
with people back, and like
Yeah.
we've seen some shit. So yeah.
Yeah, she definitely like she's awesome. I love her. And again, I'm very fortunate to work with her at
Right.
NWA and at TSW, right? So anyways, I am getting ready to wrestle Amber O'Neal. Ricky Starks is there because he was also booked on this show. And so him and I drive up to Sherman, Texas,
Mm.
and we're at the Elks Lodge and we're hanging out. And Amber is going through her divorce at this time. And all of a sudden, I see this woman. She looks really familiar. And I look at Ricky and I go, I know that woman. Like, I don't know her, but I know her. And she goes, that's Jazz. And I went, ah! And they were like, okay, this is a three-way. And Jazz was like, oh, okay. And they pull Jazz and I into a room and they go, okay, you got to go tell Amber she's losing the title to you, Jazz. And
Oh.
Jazz went, what the fuck? So, yeah, that was our whole thing. It was some messed up shit, but we went in there, we got through it. Jazz became the women's champion. She taught me how to do forearms.
Hmm.
She taught me a bunch of different wrestling moves. I've trained with Jazz and with Rodney down at Dog Pound.
Yep.
They're amazing, first off. Um, and she's great. I've stayed with her, like her whole family is amazing. They're just the salt of the earth
Yeah.
people, like just the greatest people. But then they called me back the next month. And Jazz looks at me and she goes, you are my first match back. She's like, I haven't wrestled in years. This is my first match back is with you, like single.
Wow.
And I went, oh. And then, of course, because I'm a mark, I go, can we do WrestleMania, you and Trish Stratus, where you gave her your finisher on the chairs? And she looks at me and she goes, girlfriend, you like a baby. You're not WrestleMania yet. So Jazz has known me like pretty much my whole career. She's
Right.
like, you're a baby. She goes, one day you and I will have that moment. She's like, but right now, she goes, because I haven't wrestled and trained in such a long time, too. She's like, we're not doing that. We're keeping it simple. I'm like, okay. So yeah, but she's just amazing. So
Yeah, her both her kids were there at the NWA show, and I believe her oldest is training to be a referee right now, which I think is awesome. And Rodney is very intense backstage, but once he's done working,
oh yeah.
joking around, nicest guy, and I was like, okay, you just got to turn the
Yep.
switch on and off. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So those are all my stories. I don't have any more.
you're done with stories. Okay, it was nice.
Right.
Well, so when you did make that decision to go into acting, where like I guess how did it come to you? Where do you then go? Because you have to find an agent, then you have to get booked, and then it's a
Oh,
process. And my
huge
brother,
misconception.
oh
You
yeah,
don't have to have an agent to be booked.
oh, you can just get booked yourself.
Yeah,
Oh,
but there are a lot of contracts that go in there with fine print. And
hmm,
the pros of having an agent is that they have lawyers that work for them, contract attorneys. They have seen contracts, hundreds and thousands of them. They know what the industry norm is, right? And a lot of casting directors go through agents specifically.
mm,
But if they don't find the person they're looking for through an agent, they go through different networks, right? So there's different websites that you go through to do that stuff. And everything is done online now. None of it is like face to face happens rarely
Hmm,
now, face to face auditions.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So I did a few auditions. I did a few auditions locally.
Mhm.
And then I signed up for one of these websites and I got booked on a few different things. One of them being Kevin Costner's movie Horizon,
Oh, that's awesome.
right? And then people started finding out that I was also a professional wrestler and did stunts, so they booked me for that. I've done a ton of commercials. So yeah, I've kind of, been in and out of that. And then my family owns a few businesses. So, kind of working with them in those different avenues.
Wow. So you just are just consistently busy on a very regular basis.
Yeah, I'm trying to become a millionaire before I'm 60,
I love that.
right? Listen, I have a drive. I have a big drive. So, yeah.
Now, okay, I have a segment on the show I call it the five count. It's just five random questions.
Okay.
Um, I want to make sure I get this in because what you just said makes me think of one of the questions that's in here. So,
Okay. Go.
um, number one, what would your last meal be?
Ooh, lobster and steak.
Oh, surf and turf. Very nice.
Yeah.
If you owned a liquor company, brewery, winery, or coffee shop, what would the name be? Or which one would you own and what would the name be?
The brothel.
Okay. Is that a liquor company, I imagine?
It's a bar.
Oh, even better.
It's like a speakeasy. I've
Oh,
thought about this, obviously.
I love that.
Yeah. And I even know how they would all be dressed and like the cocktails that would go into it. And like, yeah, it'd be super exclusive. Yeah.
We got to make this happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Uh,
thinking about it.
what are the last three things you Googled?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out. Google search. Oh, taxpayer access point. I owe a shit ton of money in taxes, so I had to
Independent
pay
contractor. Yeah.
that. Yep. What else did I Google? Let's see. Um, I car insurance because I'm looking for new car insurance and tithing because I pay tithing to my church. I'm religious.
That's awesome. Good for you. Who or what inspires you?
To wrestle or to live?
Live.
My mom.
That's why I asked this series. I want to get into that in a second, but I know that I have one more. uh,
Yeah.
what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Don't listen to anyone. You can do whatever you want and finish college now and don't wait.
There you go. So I wanted to ask that because the inspiration question is really one I wanted to go further in, and I love that you did say your mom because that's I figured that's what it was, and I figured that's also where you get your drive the way you are.
Yeah.
What from your mom do you feel like you, I guess, learned the most?
That you can press, oh my gosh, sorry, I can't speak English. Persevere, is that the word?
Yes.
Okay, you can persevere through anything. You can literally make anything happen if
Mhm.
you work hard enough and stick to it. And your attitude does count. I learned a lot from my mom. Coming to America was hard for
Yeah.
everyone, especially for a single woman with 4 kids,
Right.
you know? Like there were a lot of things when we were younger that I didn't understand why she did. Um, which now that I'm older and as I got older, I understood. My mom was super strict, like super strict. I don't, I'm sure there are parents out there that are as strict as my mom was, but she was extremely strict. Um, and I used to hate it and I used to rebel against it. And I realized, and actually, even when I did rebel against it, I knew that if my mom wasn't as strict as she was, I would have ended up being trafficked or dead
Mhm.
in a gutter, right?
Right.
Um, she is so strong. Like she supported 4 kids.
Yeah.
Like it what she taught us, I think every single one of my siblings have taken and ran with it, and they are all extremely successful. Um, I'm the only one that doesn't have a PhD in my family. So there's that. I'm a wrestler.
I bet your
But
siblings look at you and be like, "Oh, I really wish I could do that." Because I mean, of course,
my two
PhDs are
parents,
very nice, but like
yeah,
you're providing memories and moments for people. And I've seen you interact with kids in the crowd too, and it's like you're giving those little kids something to remember forever as well. So,
right.
again, PhDs are nice, and they can come with a certain amount of money and open a few more doors. But are they really creating memories and long-lasting things for other people? Yeah, maybe
Right.
not. Yeah.
So she she taught us, like, my mom is super religious too.
Mm,
So she taught us, like, through God, you can have anything. And even though if you feel that God is failing you, he isn't. You need to learn something, or you have chosen to go off into an opposite direction, right?
right.
Uh, and I think that shocks people when they find out like how religious I am. They're always like, "Oh my gosh, you're religious." I'm like, "Yeah." It's just not what they expect. So I'm not like some goody two shoes girl, but like I definitely like I have a moral compass and I stick to it. And I know that my family will always help me, and I know that I even when I think I'm falling, I'm actually lifting myself up to another level. Um, so yeah, I don't know, the stuff my mom did and overcame, it's really hard for any of us to ever have an excuse because I saw how hard she struggled and how hard she worked. And then I saw the outcome of the fruit of her seeds, right?
Right.
So, yes, my mother, she is the strongest. She's a huge inspiration. I know not just to me, but to other people and to other foreigners. They've actually like written a book about my mom, and
Really?
her story isn't unique. And because other foreigners have struggled and they have their own stories, and some of them are, more devastating than my mom's and our families, but she definitely, we struggled and we overcame by sticking together as a family and not backstabbing one another, you
Right.
know. So yeah, I I thank my mother every day for coming to America.
I love that.
Even now, through all the bullshit that's going on in America, I still thank my mom. I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Although it's just funny that you're like you I mean, it's funny that you say that about the bullshit that's happening in America because it's fucking ridiculous. But the fact that you were like you're not going to blame her for being here. Like you obviously still have a choice. You could go anywhere else you wanted to if you wanted to.
But here's the thing: I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Right.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, I want to go and visit, but I
Oh,
don't
of
want to live
course.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's I. I do. I love America. I'm very fortunate to be here.